The next we have here is setting up our ADDS, which is Active Directory Domain Service. So here in your Server Manager dashboard, you click on Add Roles and Features. Next. Here it will populate your DC controller, your domain controller. Click Next. Here you have to carefully choose the Active Directory Domain Services. Make sure that is what is being selected. Add the features. Click on Next. Next. Install. So this will take a little time. I will just skip this out. We exit. And when you look at here, you see this yellow notification. Click on it. It will tell you to promote this server to a domain controller. We have actually installed the services, but it is not yet promoted to a domain controller. So we click on it. Here, you are expected to add a new forest because we don't already have an existing one. Neither do we have an existing forest. So we add new forest. In our diagram, remember when we are setting up our diagram, we use our domain to be mydomain.com. So that is what we are going to use here. Next. Here you'll be required to input your password. We should use the same password again. Next. It will automatically populate my domain name. Next. Then install. This will take a little bit of time, so to save your own time, I'll just have to skip it out. Okay, we'll close. That's it. All right. So what we do now is to go to insert keyboard. You can see now it has inserted another extension here as my domain / administrator. So we put in our password as well as usual. So there is something I want to explain here. Here I am logged in with the built-in admin, but want to create our own admin account where we can be able to log in from, not from this built-in admin. So what we do is to click on this Windows tab, go to Windows Administrative Tool. Make sure you select Active Directory Users and Computers. Active Directory Users and Computers. So this will open up for you here. You can expand the windows as you want. You can see what we have created here, my domain account. So right click on it, click new, click organizational unit, and give it a name, admins. Let's uncheck this. Next. So we've created it now. So we'll try to create our users on it. New users. The user should be my name, hygienist. Or B. My user login should be h.ob. Next, I'll create a password. User must change password at next login. So when you are in a production environment, like in your work environment, you have to follow the protocols or the procedures within the organization in defining the password complexity and some of these options here. But for the purpose of this lab, I will intend to uncheck this and leave it as only password never expire, because I don't tend to, it's not a production environment, neither is it a work environment where some of this will have to follow the rules. So I will click on next. So this is my user login name. Oh, click finish. And my account is created as hygienist OB. So if I log out now and log in, you will see that I will log in with my own created admin account. But first of all, my account is not yet promoted as an admin. So I have to promote it as an admin. So we right click on it, properties, member of. All right. Let's just domain admins. Let's check for the name if it is there. Yes, domain admins. We add, we apply, and then we click OK. So once this is set up, I'm going to exit this and log myself out so I can be able to log in with the admin account that I've already created. Sign out. So first we'll go to input, keyboard, control delete, and then instead of logging in directly from this built-in admin, we go to other user, and then the name I use there is this. Now this should be capital O. And then make sure you insert your right password, and then boom, we are in. So with this, we can basically do all services that we have been doing from the addition of roles and features, as well as other things that we intend to configure. We can see that we are done with ADDS, and the next we have is RAS and NAT. So what this actually does is that it will enable our client or help desk or machine to automatically get and automatically speak to the public internet, even while maintaining a private network here. So to do this, I will click on add rules and features. Next, next. It will populate my domain. Click on next. Here, make sure you locate the remote access here. Check on it and then click next. For next, next. Here, we are select routing, and when you add the feature, it will automatically select direct access and VPN, which is the RAS, remote access. So we click on next, 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 install. So our installation is done. We'll close. Then what we do now is click on tools. We'll click on routing and remote access. I'll click on this local. Right click and then configure and enable routing on address book. Next. Here we choose network address translation. Allow internal client to connect to the internet using one public IP address. We select on it. Click next. Here, for some reason, we are not getting our NICs here, so we have to either try setting it up again and see. Click on tools, remote routing and remote access. Right click and configure. Next. Network address translation. Next. Yes, very good. Now we are connected. So remember why I named these two NICs, internal and internet. So we are actually interested in this internet. That is the use this public private interface to connect to the internet. Yes. So we click on next, next, finish. So if you look at this DC now, it is powered on with what? Green. You understand? So to indicate you that it is what? It is on. So we exit this button and so we are done with this. I believe once we have our client computer, it will be able to connect to the internet. We can see that we are done with this RAS and NAT, and the next we have here is DHCP. Basically, the DHCP we're going to configure now is to allow our clients to get an IP address from the pool of IP that we're going to configure in this DHCP, so that once an IP is being assigned to them, they can be able to communicate to the public internet. So once we are here, we add roles and features. Next, next. Our domain controller is selected. Next. Here we are going to choose our DHCP server because that is what we are installing. You add features. We click next, 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 and we click on install. All right, it's done installing already. We click on close and come here the tools. We are supposed to have it here, DHCP, and once that opens, we do the necessary configuration here and the DHCP scope. So it is here. So we can a little bit expand this. So once we have this, we notice we have our IPv4, IPv6. They are both are down with red. So this is where we need to what? We need to configure the settings that will pull up this IPv4 address to be up, so I can be able to assign IP addresses to the client computers that will be connected to the network. So what we do here is we right click on IPv4, we say new scope, say next. Here we are expected to give a scope name for this our DHCP. So and look at this diagram that we have. The scope we have allocated here is 172.16.0.100 to 200. So this is what I will use as my scope, as my range of what IP address. My mask is 255.255.255.0 and then gateway 172.168.0.1 and my DNS is 172.16.0.1. So once we're here, we're going to give it as 172.168.16, sorry, .0.1.100 dash 200. So this will be my scope. For the description, I don't need to state anything there. Next. And then what is my starting address? My starting address should be 172.160.100 and the ending should be with 200. So We go with that 172.16.0.100, and our ending address should be 172.16.0.200. I won't have any sort of reservation. I'll leave it as a sudden notation of /24. And my subnet mask is already there, 255.255.255.0. I'll click on next. Here, I'm not excluding any IP addresses. I'll click on next. Here means least duration. Okay. When you are in a production environment or when you are setting up a DHCP, either for your organization, you should determine how long a particular device can be able to hold the IP address. For this, my practice, I will leave it as 8 days because I don't expect to lose the IP address maybe after 2 hours or after 30 minutes. But for your production environment, as I said, it's necessary to limit the timing so that when someone is done maybe for 30 minutes and the person is no longer there, the IP address can be allocated to another person. So I'll leave it as 8 days. Next. Yes, I will select yes. I want to configure these options. Router default gateway. So here I'm going to set my default gateway. Remember how my internet will be accessed. It will be accessed from 172.16.0.1. So that should be my default gateway. So I can click on add or whichever one I do. So here, this is the IP address I need, 172.16.0.1. This is the IP I need. Good. 172.160.1. Next. So here Win server, I don't need this probably some older servers, and I want to activate this scope now. Yes, I'm finished. So once this is done, I should expect my service now to be on, but before that I need to do some refresh. I need to do some authorize, refresh. Good. Okay, my DHCP server is up and running. I'll exit this now. So we can now exit this, and from our diagram again, we can see that we are almost done with every configuration. But there is one important thing again I would like to do now. I would like to use a PowerShell to create a bunch of user accounts, and then we can be able to see how that works, as well as log in with different users and set some permissions as well.